You know, niggas gotta get their priorities together. Got their mind on the wrong things, spending their money in the wrong way.
Trapaholics, real trap shit.
Say you need that car with the rims and a trunk, just like Jim. It's more than life. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Talk to him.
Say you need that LV bag with the belt and the hat.
That's all you got though.
It's more than life. Yeah.
Talk to him. Real.
Say you wanna turn up at the club, like some bottles, impress them girls. It's more than life.
Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Saints and Appetizers podcast. And we are back. We are back with some more main course for you. And I'm talking about some real football, maybe not regular season, but some real football, some New Orleans Saints players getting tackled to the ground and attempting to tackle Los Angeles Chargers to the ground. But yeah, so we had the matchup between the New Orleans Saints versus the Los Angeles Chargers just Saturday. That was like it was the prime time single slotted game Sunday. But yeah, we'll go over this with the main course here. There's a lot of some ups and kind of a lot of downs, but we'll get into it because this game, it just had me feeling very had like 2024 vibes. You know, I didn't see a lot of optimism or like improvement from last year. But you know, it's just preseason game one, and a lot of people out there that watch football or are Saints fans really don't think that preseason matters at all and don't get excited for it. But man, I get way too invested for preseason games. You know, those first couple drives where the Saints look kind of decent, you know, making plays, any little play they'd make here, get a defensive stop or actually catch a pass or something. You know, I'm right up there, like clapping my hands and getting excited and just, you know, I can, after one bad play or a penalty, taking away a first down or making a defensive stop, negating a defensive stop, you know, just like already it's just a preseason game, preseason week one, already having my blood boiling, even though I came into this game knowing that it doesn't matter, and I'm coming into this season knowing that the Saints are expected to be bad, but I don't know. It seemed like I was feeling like a bit of a sprinkle of optimism hearing the stuff that was coming out of training camp, and it was looking like maybe Spencer Rattler is going to end up being the number one starting quarterback. Well, that's come to a halt after today. But let's get into this game. I go over some of this box score, player stats, and kind of try to see if we can kind of break it down, kind of through the starts. You know, because you had Spencer Rattler started through almost the first half, and then Tyler Shuck came in at the 2-minute drill, like around the 2-minute drill, a 2-minute warning of the first half, and then you had like Jake Haener coming in like the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. But let's get into kind of what we saw from Spencer Rattler and the players around him while he was in. So Spencer Rattler. Before we get to that, I'm about too far ahead of myself. So with that, can I get a menu? And so yeah. Back to what I was about to say there. Spencer Rattler, I initially the first 2-3 drives, I thought he looked a little bit better. I thought he looked a little more composed and had a little more confidence standing there in the pocket instead of just like getting all flustered and panicking and like running backwards or like running into sacks. The first couple drives, you didn't really get that out of him. You did kind of have just kind of some like dump off passes and nothing really over the middle of the field. But yeah, I felt kind of confident. I felt kind of good seeing Spencer Rattler at first, but as the game went on and his snap count continued to go on, he ended up like doing exactly what we're doing. Looks like he has time in the pocket, and then he's scrambling and going and trying to run away, and he it doesn't go off in his head of whether he has enough time to throw or when he needs to run for it. So yeah, he ended up taking some sacks, and then kind of the one that was kind of the nail in the coffin, like the end of the day for him was he got strip sacked on a play where he just completely just I think the rusher wasn't even coming from his blind side. It was coming from his left side, and he's just standing there and just stood in there a little too long and just didn't even feel the rush or see the rusher and just got blasted and strip sacked, and they recovered the fumble and just man, very 2024 Spencer Rattler type feels. And you'd see he'd make a play and then you'd get a penalty. He'd make a play and he'd get sacked. And what this was leading to was picking up some yards and things like that, but not getting any points. And that accumulates to 0 wins. And that's what we got out of Spencer Rattler in his 7 starts last year. Is yeah, there's some times where he has like an impressive scramble, picks up 10, 15 yards, and then oh yeah, he makes a nice throw that's off platform, kind of like a sidearm, and it's like a cool looking throw. But the next thing you know, they're getting a penalty that's backing him up, or he's getting sacked backing up. Next thing you know, it's 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20, and then the turnovers, and that leads to turnovers and just 0 points. And like I said, 0 wins. So Spencer Rattler, at first, at the start of the game, I thought he looked a little bit more composed and had a little bit more control over the offense. But I don't know. After he took that first sack, he just kind of started like falling apart. So that's what we saw out of Spencer Rattler. Another player that we saw that we seen that was in there while Spencer Rattler was taking the majority of snaps in the first half and got me right back on. I wasn't completely off the bandwagon to begin with. I maybe had like kind of like 1 foot off, but I'm completely right back on the Kendra Miller bandwagon, and I would almost be willing to say that he was my MVP for this game. Not just while Spencer Rattler was had the snaps and had the starts, but Kendra Miller looked all the way back to me. Didn't have super impressive numbers rushing, but he didn't just rush the ball. He also had a reception and had a kickoff return as well. But yeah, on those runs, it just looked like he was putting everything into those runs, and that was on the second drive where they were finally able to get down into the red zone. It was like a 4th and 1 or something, and like I like the play call, the run play to Kendra Miller, but I just didn't like them snapping it out of out of the out of the shotgun. If you're gonna run that play, do like a heavy set, goal line set with a fullback in front of you and try to power it in there because that's definitely the type of running back I look at Kendra Miller as, like a power back. You see him, he has some of the most impressive like 2-yard runs where he's like running over a guy and stiff arming a guy, and then I guess that kind of calls back to what the yards before first hit, but he's getting hit like before he can even pick up a yard with how the offensive line was playing, even though there weren't a lot of starters. I'm trying to think. I think Fuaga, Penning, and Ruiz were your only starter. Maybe Kelvin Banks. I think maybe the only starting offensive lineman that didn't play was maybe Eric McCoy, but some of those guys only took like 3 or 4 snaps and they were coming out of there before they were getting injured, which we'll get to injuries here in a minute. But yeah, Kendra Miller, I liked what he did, but I wish they'd had a different play call on the to goal the 1st and goal, like on the 1 there when they should have. Yeah, I like the run play, but I don't like runs in general, like draw plays or runs out of the shotgun. Just not a huge fan of that. But yeah, I'm all the way back on the Kendra Miller bandwagon with what he did on Sunday. Probably we don't need to just saran wrap him and protect him with bubble wrap until week 1, and then we can get the Kendra Miller injury in like week 1 or week 2. No reason to have it happen just here in preseason. But yeah, so Kendra Miller, he was 6 for 15, which he had started before he had a couple runs for losses, and he had that no gain on the goal line. He had like 4 carries for 14 yards, but with those added 2 carries where he only picked up 1 more yard, kind of hurt his average there. So he was 6 for 15 with a 2.5 average. So that's not real great, but those were some not greatest play calls that led to messing his average up a little bit. And then he had even an impressive catch over the middle, a quick catch over the middle from Spencer Rattler that I think it went for 9 yards. I think, yeah, 1 catch for 9 yards. So he's showing he can be a power bruising type of running, breaking tackles, but he also has soft hands as well. So catching passes over the middle. And then we mentioned on special teams, he also had a good run. He had one kickoff return that went for 36 yards. So impressive. There wasn't a lot of impressiveness during this game, but definitely Kendra Miller was one to watch, and I guess he'll be one to watch. I really don't think I need to see any more of him in preseason. Like if he's going to get hurt, might as well be week 1 or week 2. And then really not a lot else happened while Spencer Rattler had the ball. You saw a lot of the same from Spencer Rattler in 2024. Looked like pretty much exactly the same guy, but he was 7 of 11 for 53 yards, no touchdowns, no interception, but did have I think he took 2 sacks and had a strip sack where he lost the fumble as well. All right, so that's kind of what happened while Spencer Rattler had the ball. Let's get into Tyler Shuck. So Tyler Shuck comes in for the 2-minute drive. I think there's like a minute and like 40 seconds left when he comes in. He looks really impressive with this 2-minute drive, just making these like quick throws over the middle and quick like check downs, and he just pretty much like just marched them right down the field and got him in field goal range. I think the management there was kind of a dumb pass towards the end there when they still had like a minute left, and he threw a pass over the middle that only picked up like 5 yards, and I think they didn't have any timeouts, so he went to spike it, but by the time he spiked it, it was all the way down to just like 30 seconds left. So I think that's something that's easy to fix in your 2-minute warning type of drives, where he should know that if he's going to throw something like that, it make any type of throw when you have less than a minute and no timeouts left. Like it needs to be towards the sidelines or enough space for your wide receiver or your receiver to be able to get out of bounds. So that was the only negative of that 2-minute drive that Shuck had, but just looked so much better. Looked like a just appearance. It looked like a NFL quarterback. You know, he's 6'5", 225 pounds, laser rocket arm. Like Spencer Rattler looks like someone that should be like on the JV team. Same with Jake Haener. Like you can see why the Saints picked Tyler Shuck, is because he looks like a guy. He looks like your prototypical franchise quarterback, and he made some good throws, but I mean he also made some bad throws. So yeah, he got the Saints' first points on the board with 3 points. It was a short field goal by Blake Grupe. Yeah, just a 31-yard field goal by Blake Grupe, which led to some of the only points the Saints got. So yeah, Tyler Shuck looked great on his 2-minute drive, and then we got into the second half and looked like he was warming up to have another one of those drives. You know, it looked like he was moving the ball, and then a classic mistake, not even just a rookie mistake, but one of those deep out routes. He throws it and he stares it down all the way, I think right before he even hiked the ball. Like that's who he was going to go to. And of course it gets picked off and taken to the house. Like I don't even know why quarterbacks play that out route like that sideline out route like that, because it's like all it's going to pick you up. Most of the time, all you're going to get is like 5 yards from it. You either get like pick up 5 yards, or you throw an interception. Most of the time, it being a pick six like that. So that wasn't great to see. But if anyone's banging on Tyler Shuck too much about that throw and that interception and it being his first preseason game, they need to go back to week 1 of 2020 when the Saints were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady's debut for the Buccaneers, where he threw a very similar, I think even on the same side of the field as Shuck did, those out routes. He threw one right to Janoris Jenkins, who took it back for a touchdown. So, I mean, if you want to look at one of the greatest of all time doing it, just like in the past 4 or 5 years, you can go see Tom Brady make the exact same mistake Tyler Shuck did. Not saying Tyler Shuck is going to be Tom Brady or anything, but also not saying it's not enough for people to start calling Tyler Shuck a bum or trash yet, because other than that, I thought he looked really good. And what I like to see is the resolve and the saltiness of Tyler Shuck and the drive and competitiveness to come back and just shake that off, shake that pick six off. His first touchdown of his NFL career ended up being for the defense, but he came right back on the next drive and he hit Mason Tipton for a 54-yard touchdown. So which was probably the most explosive play of the day for the Saints. So yeah, that was the defining moment of this game for Tyler Shuck, with just how he shook off the pick six and came right back and threw a 54-yard touchdown to Mason Tipton. And nice to see Mason Tipton carrying over some of that training camp training camp legend stuff and training camp MVP and carrying it over into the actual real game or preseason game. So that was nice to see as well. And then around uh, Tyler Shuck during his drives, his snaps, nothing else. No players really made a whole lot of plays. And like the ugliest thing is basically after Kendra Miller came out, there was like pretty much zero running game. Like there was like no running game at all, except a couple scrambles by Spencer Rattler. He had 3 carries for 22 yards, and then Tyler Shuck had like 1 carry for 3 yards. But yeah, nothing, not more than 15 yards from a running back after that from Kendra Miller. So yeah, didn't like seeing that there was no running game. And you need to take that into account. Why Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck maybe didn't look real great in this game is because, hey, the Los Angeles Chargers at times were dialing up some pressure and their run defense was good. And I mean, after Kendra Miller, you kind of have, running back 3 and 4. As long as Kendra Miller stays healthy, I think it's easy to pencil him in or even magic marker him in behind Alvin Kamara for RB2. But yeah, you didn't get anything too exciting after that for players around Tyler Shuck. But Tyler Shuck, he went 15 for 22 for 165 yards, a touchdown, and then an interception, a pick six. So well, that wasn't great. But like I said, love just seeing how he had such better command and of the offense and the huddle, and just it seemed like he had a lot more awareness of where the rush is coming from and changing his protections and things like that. Just nothing you saw from Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener, who both just kind of look like deer in the headlights to me. And then we got just a little bit of Jake Haener at the end. And of course, on his first drive, he has I think he completed his first pass, and then he almost throws an interception on a pass that was tipped off his receiver's hand. And then he comes right back and throws an interception after that. So Jake Haener didn't lead us to a whole lot either. He ended up with just being 5 for 8 for 41 yards and an interception. I guess he led them to a field goal after a long return. We had a couple good returns by Velais Jones, who had 2 kickoff returns for 73 yards. So Velais Jones there in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, the game had like a big run that almost like put them in field goal range. So that's where those other 3 points of the 13 they scored came from at the end of the game. So yeah, Jake Hayner, kind of like Spencer Rattler, looked like 2024 Spencer, or looked like 2024 Jake Hayner, or looked like 2023 Jake Hayner. Just didn't see a lot of growth and improvement in either Spencer Rattler or Jake Hayner's game. And like I was saying, with the news and the reports and the videos coming out of training camp, it looked like Spencer Rattler was starting to kind of pull away a little bit in this quarterback position or quarterback competition. But it looks like it's like dead even now. Like he took a big big drop back, or maybe Tyler Shutt came forward a little bit and he just slammed on the brakes, because I feel like they're neck and neck in this quarterback race. And I think if Tyler Shuck is even just slightly worse or just slightly better than Spencer Rattler, then I would imagine they're going to go with the rookie, their guy, Kellen Moore's guy. All right, so that's all the offense and stuff like that. We talked a little bit about the penalties. The Saints had a bunch of penalties in this game. They were they were in mid-season form with penalties, and they were just like terrible penalties where it's going to pick up a first down with it, or you're going to get the offense, the opposing offense off the field on third down, and then that gives them a first down, or that ends up making it third and 15 or something, when it was like third and 5 and you thought you had a first time. So just very in opportune times to get those penalties. Very 2024-esque, all those penalties that they got, and even getting a play overturned felt very Saintsy when let's see, should have been the first points of the game when oh, if I can find him, I think it was Christian yeah, Christian Boyd had a strip, had what looked like a safety, like it should have been like the first 2 points of the game, and the Saints getting the ball back when he sacked yeah, he sacked I think it was Taylor Heineke. It was either Taylor Heineke or Trey Lance, and sacked him, and we thought we got 2 points, and of course they overturn it and take the 2 points off the board, and then the Saints can't really do much with it, especially on those kickoff returns. That was something I was wanting to talk about. I don't think I want to see Dante Pettis return punts anymore, because on some of those punts, those 2 punts that he had 2 for 8 yards, and I mean he was running diagonally. He was running like this way instead of going vertical, like in a straight line, and just like, bro, I'm sorry, you're a little bit long in the tooth and a veteran player and not a highly prized veteran player. I don't think you have the speed or the juice or the acceleration to be running sideways, or like coming to a complete stop thinking you're going to juke a guy and then pick up 5 yards, when you should just go straight and maybe you can pick up 5 yards. So didn't love seeing Dante Pettis returning punts either. So, and then just a little bit more for the defense here. Uh, we had Fidel. So we talked about Christian Boyd. He had a sack and 1 tackle, but we had some other sacks as well. Fidel Diggs looked really good. Had 3 tackles, 1 assist, and a sack. And then Chris Rump had 2 tackles, 1 assist, and a sack as well. So the pass rush looked there at times like the worst thing, and the very more 2024-esque, or just New Orleans Saints just in general. Like Trey Lance was pretty much the starting quarterback for the remainder of the game after like the first 2 drives of the 2 drives of Taylor Heineke. But the Saints, what they were the worst thing about them on defense was they had a hard time stopping the run. They gave up a lot of rushing yards, and a lot of rushing yards to quarterbacks. They allowed 148 rushing yards uh, against the Chargers, but a lot of it came from just Trey Lance. Like Trey Lance a lot of people maybe look at this game and look at the final score and see that Trey Lance played most of the game, maybe think that he had some great game or something. But I mean, he was 7 for 14 for 55 yards. Like the Saints secondary was good. It was just the running game and quarterback runs. He had 7 carries for 48 yards and with a 6.9 average and a touchdown. And then you had Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders had 10 carries for 42 yards with a 4.2 average and a touchdown as well. So the Saints' run defense didn't look improved, and just New Orleans Saints historically didn't seem improved against running quarterbacks either. And Fidel Diggs, who we just mentioned, had a sack in this game and looked like he was all over the field everywhere at times in this game. May have gotten Isaiah Foskey cut because there was a couple run plays, big run plays where Foskey lost containment and allowed big windows for one for Raheem Rocket Sanders to run through on a play where he picked up a big first down, and then losing containment on Trey Lance had Isaiah Foskey looking bad, the second rounder from a couple of years ago, getting outdone by Saints seventh round pick from this year, rookie Fidel Diggs. So to even keep his job, Isaiah Foskey probably going to have a much improved game, and probably if even making this team at all, even the practice squad need to show out in preseason or in the next second preseason game. So that's mostly the players, ups and downs of our quarterbacks. Of course, penalties, the big negative in this, and then just the kind of round this out to, like I said, it feels like we're in mid-season form with how this game went with the penalties, the quarterback play, the defense, the run defense, but just to round it all out, it hadn't been a lot of injuries in training camp. I think Kellen Moore really has designed some type of program that likes to give players a lot more rest, especially veteran players and your starters, and try to take it easy when maybe previous Saints coaching staffs maybe went a little hard or overworked some veterans and hadn't really had a lot of injuries in training camp. Like what you had the guard that their guard from a couple of years ago that they drafted in the third round. Like he's done for the season. And then Juwan Johnson, he pulled a hamstring or something, but it ended up not being super serious. But of course, preseason game, the Los Angeles Chargers, they're not going to go easy on the Saints like Kellen Moore has been doing, I guess, in practice. And no, there was obviously no tackling to the ground in training camp and OTAs and any of those practices. But yeah, we already got a good list going here now with injuries. We had Will Clapp come off the field. That was really the only one that was documented by the terrible Chargers announcer. Color commentators were terrible. That was the only one they mentioned because it showed him down for a while, and then he was able to get back up and kind of slowly walked off with a couple of trainers next to him. So that didn't look really serious. But the Saints need offensive line depth because they allowed 5 or 6 sacks in this game. So they need the offensive line depth. So he went down, and then I guess Trevor Penning, before they were able to get some of the starting offensive linemen out of there after the first 2 or 3 drives, Trevor Penning got hurt already. It was just a couple snaps, and they were started pulling out some of the offensive line players, but they weren't quick enough for Trevor Penning. But kind of like Will Clapp, I'm not 100% sure how bad it was, but I guess people were saying he was kind of on the back of the cart and had both shoes and socks off, but was walking, got off the cart and walked the rest of the way into the locker room. So just have to wait and see how serious those are. And then Bud Memes, he looked a little more serious because you saw him on the cart and he had the towel over his head. That usually means, most of the time that usually means a season-ending injury. And then I think it was Mason Pline looked like he had some type of shoulder injury that didn't look too positive there. So yeah, just like I said, or Saints are in mid-season form uh, with just everything, injuries, penalties, quarterback play. But yeah, that's about the mashup for that. So now we'll be looking at Jaguar at the preseason game number 2, which will be Sunday, August 17th at noon, and that'll be Jaguars at Saints. So hopefully we see some improvement, and hey, man, there might be some move like shuffling of the roster a little bit after some of these injuries and some of the poor play that we saw in the game against the Chargers. But I'm still it's preseason. A lot of people say that they're not really invested in it, but me, I'm heavily invested in it. And like I said, it had to be until like about only 5 minutes left and the game being completely over once you had like Jake Hayner coming in there that my blood started to cool, even though like I said in that first quarter and maybe looking like the Saints might be able to actually be the ones that put the first points on the board before the refs just stole 2 points from them, stole 2 points and an extra possession from them. Like I said, I was right there in front of the TV, clapping for any slightly positive play the Saints had. But after Kendra Miller went out and uh, we got our pick six from Shuck and just the 50-yard touchdown. After that, there wasn't a whole lot of excitement in this game. But anyways, I think that's about all I have for you this evening. So, who dat? And can I get a check, please?